Dragonite. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the Dragonite playstyle actually fits Rise?
The thing about them is that because we haven't seen them really play, and basically this would be the opportunity for people to see whether or not they can actually play this out. But the thing about Rise, or something to highlight about, not really about Pokemon so much, but really in regards to the individuals, is that they're very hardworking. They're the most hardworking team. Let's put it this way. They're the most hardworking Pokemon Unite team here in Southeast Asia. Basically, that's their keyword that they've been started for the longest time as well. We've had interviews together with EO, even the previous times as well. They are taking this very, very seriously. I do believe that they've put a lot of thought into it and will try to make it work out for them. Meanwhile, here at the top lane, it does seem that the Buzzwole is currently in a little bit of trouble as getting pressured by the Squirtle together with Leafeon here on this side of Xora Tigers Gaming, and it's going to be the first knockout coming on from their end. Meanwhile, we do see a little bit swinging out over here, a little bit too late. Rotation coming on from Jenger to the top lane to provide any form of assistance, but managed to screen out team members from Xora Tigers Gaming to them back to their goalposts.
Yeah, very respectable play there for Xora Tigers because they understand, because Jong plays so much Buzzwole, they know how suppressive this Pokemon can be, especially for that Squirtle matchup, which Jong is playing. So to put a lot of pressure up there, I can absolutely understand. If you're Rise though, you would want to keep supporting this top lane so that you can deny Jong that evolution into Blastoise. He's still level 5, it's not too bad. That top lane is actually looking pretty good here for Zoro because Buzzwole is only level 4. They're focusing their attention to their other Pokemon instead. They're trying to make sure that XQ gets his levels and also for Eeyore to hit that evolution for that Dragonite, right? You want to hit that Power Spike to be able to get that secure and to actually start jumping on some of those squishies. Those Eevees do not want to be going one-on-one against a Dragonite.
Yeah, it's not like they're able to actually clear out real fast as well. Quite sturdy. Meanwhile, the top lane does look like there's going to be an engagement over there, but we might be missing out on all the action. Meanwhile, Dragonite going for cheese on the Leafeon, decide to disengage. They're waiting for the Altera family to appear here on the central area. The screen is over there, but it does seem that all this engagement is going to be gone to the fray right here. Leaf Blade being utilized as well, but no one gets traded off in between both ends at this current moment. Manages to make an escape. It's going to be Leafeon towards the right side. Mule making his way to safety.
Xora Tigers, fantastic group up for that central lane, getting the majority of the experience there. Although we are seeing this Buzzwole go for a little micro score alongside Eeyore. They do get the evolution into Dragonite. But this Buzzwole, though, being slowed down by that Trevenant. Ward buying time, actually going to zone him down towards that bottom lane. Nice KO there for Xora Tigers, trying to just get as much experience as they can and tonight from Rise. But while that was happening, though, we're seeing a couple of KOs, but look at XQ in that bottom lane. This man is actually getting free experience down here and has hit that level 7, so he is now that Inteleon, ready to throw down those snipe shots whenever necessary. If you're Xora Tigers and you see XQ level 7, you've got to start worrying here because he is going to be really deadly for those backline EVs. We're going to see a bottom fight here for that Registeel. It's an attack buff as well. Psychic Select connecting Buzzwole. First Pokemon to get KO'd, and that Crustle. Both of the front line has gone on the side of Rise. They do still have Eeyore's Dragonite going with those basic range attacks. Oh, almost getting the Trevenant. Not enough range there for that Hyper Beam. They're going to keep on going with this suppressive fire, trying to go into Axeq again, but that snipe shot lowering the Leafeon, running into safety. Eeyore, though, looks like he has been locked down by 2 Pokemon, the Clefable and that Blastoise. Still fighting over the Registeel Emerald, 2-step, 3 Pokemon down for Rise, and I think Rise are going to have to give this away. They are just not, there's not enough sustain for them to fight up against Xora Tigers.
Yeah, of course, they still have a 5-man movement here coming from Xora Tigers Gaming. I believe that they are trying to get the best to actually try to secure this. It is going to be the hands of Blastoise getting that Registeel last hit on him as well. Now, this is going to be giving them the attack and special attack buff for the whole team itself, and they are way ahead in terms of level, Danny, at the current moment. All that snowballing coming on from levels on the side of Team Rise at the current moment. They managed to make it into an equalizer, and of course, running out to the top lane is going to be Buzzwole once again here. You're looking at a level 9 Blastoise here. This is something that you do not want, as he should be the one struggling, having a double evolution, and this time Buzzwole being all alone here at the top lane. That's cleared out, but it's members from Xora Tigers Gaming, and they got themselves with the goal post as well.
Not sure what happened with the Psychic Slayer there, but we, as you said,
I was confused.
I was like, are they stopping the Altar?
No, maybe because I wasn't seeing like what's underneath all this, right? Because I don't see it, so I was like, maybe there's something that we don't know.
I do like the pace that Xora Tigers are playing at though, because they are capitalizing on the very early power spikes of those evolutions, but I I'm still not 100% comfortable with their position because they aren't really denying the map for Rise. Rise are still able to get wild Pokemon on their side of the map. They're not feeling threatened. They're not being invaded. You ideally want to start invading to stop them going into their own central areas. Because you have the Leafy on Emerald 2-step. Can they get the finish off though? They don't get Axe-Q. In the meantime though, we have that Buzzwole fighting on the goal zone. Hydro Typhoon locks in the Buzzwole and will get the immediate KO. Illuna buying time for his team. He's being pushed off the goal zone and without any sustain. He's going to be knocked out in just a second. This Blastoise though being an absolute pain with the Surfs and the Trevenant as well. Just so much disruption from Xora Tigers, preventing Rise from getting into any advantageous position.
Yeah, but I really like that play coming out from Russell as well, trying to buy out time. He knows he's not able to actually sustain all that damage coming out from team members of Xora Tigers Gaming, so they decide to actually pull them to the right side. Meanwhile, some team members can actually still sustain from behind. Meanwhile, we do see the screening here coming out from behind as well, hitting off on the Trevenant, but manages to make an escape with half HP at the current moment. All the sniping shots coming on from the Italian as well was not able. Damage up was still insufficient to take out anyone here from Xora Tigers Gaming. Currently, all this battle happening around the Regice area. The Woodhammer hitting off on tree, but there's no full one coming out from team members as well. Buzzwole bringing on the action, managed to trade up on one, but gets straight out together as well. Now making it a 4v3 situation, siding more towards Team Rise at the scoreboard. Leaf Blade coming in, clearing out two. Eldegoss is now gone as well, and Regice is going to be down in the hands of Team Rise.
They get the objective, but can they get these EVs? They will get Sabine finally with that Hyper Beam, but Axe-Q, he wants fuel. But wait a minute, Axe-Q, he gets that KO. Will be caught by that Surf coming in from Jong. And Axe-Q, this man's in no man's land, will get KO'd. Really wanted to get that there. But I have to say, these fights are really, really difficult to Rise. And I think this is a really great example of why Clefable is such a highly contested support. The Moonlight AoE healing provides so much sustain that it lets Xora Tigers outlast Rise in a lot of these team fights.
Oh no.
Eldegoss is a great aggressive support, but it's never going to out-heal a Clefable. With how you want to play with that Eldegoss, you want to run and gun, you want to eliminate everybody as fast as possible. You are an aggressive support. Last hit, Eo steals the Reggie Alecki! Oh, Xora Tigers going to be so unhappy with that.
All that damage coming on from Xora Tigers Gaming, and in the end, Team Rise is going to be the one securing this Regieleki at the top lane over here. Now, looking at both ends, right? If you look at what Xora Tigers Gaming has to offer, now you have to go through the Blastoise. They're traveling and with aggressive support coming out of Clefable as well. This is not going to be an easy feat coming up from Team Rise over here, as whatever Eldegoss has to offer in this regeneration, as mentioned now, is not as much as what Clefable has to offer. So it's them sustain. They have it. Xora Tigers Gaming has it slightly better.
And
Rise,
Rise
5 more seconds.
Rise also have a slight level advantage. Almost all of their core Pokemon are level 13. So with this level advantage, maybe Rise are going to be able to win this in the late game flavor.
Oh man, the gap. I just realized it's only like a 14 point difference between them, leaning slightly more towards side of Xora Tigers Gaming. Meanwhile, at the bottom side over here, trying to go late scaling, they do have the Inteleon, so they are able to snipe shot from time to time. Oh, here goes the drive coming up from Crustle. From inside is going to be enough as well. Oh, Hydro Typhoon hitting up multiple unit, but there's no fall coming from behind. They managed to get the Trevenant in here. Can they actually get more hiccup from this? Snipe shot, but not able to connect as well. Decided to engage. It's going to be the Aspeons with the top right side.
This is such an awkward fight as well because none of the Evolutions were able to get into the fight to dish out their damage. Leafeon and Espeon were stuck in the back line. And to lose your Blastoise here, unfortunately, with no front line, your Evolutions are absolutely going to be exposed to some of this aggression coming in from Rise. And now it looks like we might be looking at a potential steal for Rayquaza here. We've got the Hyper Beam available. Great ultimate coming in from the Trevenant. Is it enough? The Leafeon gets the Rayquaza! Xora Tigers managing to get the flip, but does it really matter for Rise? The game is so close. It might come down to micro scores.
Oh man, looking at this, it does seem that Trevenant is going to do a little bit of scoring here on the bottom left side. Meanwhile, we do see with 50 points there on the Buzzwole together with the Dragonite. Are they going to be making any big dunks at any point here in this game? But they don't have any form of resistance. They did not manage to actually secure that takedown on the Rayquaza.
They have to go. They have to
clear. 32 seconds on the clock at the current moment, but it looks like solid defense here coming up from team members from Xora Tigers Gaming. They do have the Blastoise this time about. Thank goodness for them. They do have the defense created the Rayquaza just a while ago, but this time they managed to actually cut out. Disengaging, basically displacing that Blastoise way away from there. Here comes the jump as well. Where are the falls from the team members, Daddy?
Do they have the damage here from Rise? Can they score? I don't think they can. There's just too much AoE coming out from Rise. 32 points are scored. But with that said, I don't think Rise are going to be able to cross that finish line. Xora Tigers coming out on top after a sneaky steal coming in from that Leafeon, saving the game for the Koreans.
Wow, I mean, basically, he has a great secure ability, so he does have the Leaf Blade over there to just secure the last hit in on the Rayquaza itself. Now, wow, this is a tight one. You can see that from their faces. This is not the time for them to celebrate yet at this point, despite actually winning themselves with that in #1 itself. And of course, on this side, we do see Team Rise over here. Probably
not happy.
Definitely not happy with that, and probably need to go back to the drawing tables.
The Rapid Spout, or if he's going to go for Surf or Hydro Pump. But Blastoise can absolutely run over a Venusaur and Inteleon. Umbreon is going to be able to set up for that Mimikyu. Espeon can dance around a lot of these attacks. And then you've got Axiom Mew, who's going to be on the other side of the map just shooting solar beams. Like, what do you do?
I was also thinking about that. Okay, I'm assuming this. Venusaur is going to not, I don't know whether he's going to be running pedal dance or not. I think just for mobility
I think
purposes.
you have to.
He has to for this. But Squirtle definitely gonna run Surf.
We didn't see items, so we really can't tell what
we can't
build they're
tell because
looking
we
at
don't
for
see
the
the items.
Venusaur.
Yeah. But I think Squirtle is gonna run Surf because since the opponent has a Hoopa, you can also ride on the Surf to actually drive away the Pokemons away from the portal itself. So meanwhile, here top lane does seem that it's gonna be a 3v3 situation here coming up from both ends. They're running the Bulbasaur, so they ran the Sylveon. So Bulba's gonna struggle. The thing about Bulbasaur compared to a Squirtle, Squirtle has a much easier way into the game, early game, even before reaching Blastoise, compared to Bulbasaur.
Mimikyu and Umbreon is a terrible lane matchup as well for a Bulbasaur. So if they're able to get a backstab, they're going to use the Snarl just to get the secure there. But yeah, the Bulbasaur oversteps on boundary. Like, you're going back home. You're going to have to think about what you do when you come back into the game. But so far, things are not looking too bad for both sides. Both teams are getting their experience. Nobody is really getting shut down aside from this Bulbasaur. But we are getting some scores in, and we know Dev loves to run those scoring Pokemon to get those extra stats. And Zoe showing off why Umbreon is such a pain to deal with. It's just so annoying. It's so sustainable on its own. It doesn't need support. You got Snarl as well. That's going to reduce the damage output and will also be a huge asset as this game goes later and later. Yeah,
you can sustain and also dish out damage at the same time as well. So there's something that the opponent does not like to deal with. Meantime, of course, we do have the Umbreon here on the top side, but I does see Central area is going to be a little bit of tension up here. Light Screen together with Solar Beam coming out from the Mew, clearing out those Altera family at the central area, leaving nothing in the dust here for their opponents on the side of Orange. Meanwhile, of course, a little bit of wild Pokemon farming on for the Espeon as well.
Yeah, so just not much happening in this game, actually. It's a pretty slow one across the board, not really seeing too much action. Both teams just focusing on their experience. We already know that Rise are on the back foot, being one game down in this best of 3, looking to win the next 2 if they want to take the series. But for Xora Tigers, ideally they win this game because they want to get that 2-0, stay in that upper bracket, and force Rise into the lower bracket to play tomorrow. And hopefully for Xora Tigers, they can actually make it to the grand final. It's going to be a tough path regardless because we do have a lot of teams left in that upper bracket. But let's focus on this game here first. Can they get the win here?
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of things that we really want to highlight, that whatever the outcome may be over here, but we can save it later as well. Oh, it does save it here. Mimikyu charging forward, but that gets the double berry here. Ivysaur manages to escape with his life here from here. Decides to disengage and enters the wild Pokemon area to get a little bit experience for himself because he's just so close to becoming a Venusaur here in this game as he is at level 6 right now, making 7.
They're coming in.
Oh, the secure! Sylveon gets the Regirock here at the bottom lane. Meanwhile, all this and more, Umbreon tries to make it, tries to juke around, but I believe that he's not able to actually do so as he gets caught up here and gets cleared out by the Inteleon, by the Slime Shot. Meanwhile, 4-man movement here to the bottom lane. The only one in defense is going to be the Mew together with the War Total. Is it going to be
coming in the back there? We've got Dev coming in with a quick KO there onto Xora Tigers. Double KO so far. Hoopa is gone. There's no resets, and the Unite committed as well. Onto the Sylveon. We'll pop off the Unite and get the regen, but I think it's curtains for Mule. There's no way you get away from a Mimikyu.
Oh man, that Mimikyu is insane. Coming up from the back and doing wonders here for the team members of Team Rise. Meanwhile, solid defense coming on from their opponents. Xora Tigers here. Here comes Slowbro, Hoopa together with Intel on the way a little bit, want to spoil themselves. Snipe Shot's not able to connect at this current moment.
Yep, and up top we do get confirmation here, so it's the Pedal Dance build from this Venusaur. So we've got the Giga Drain Pedal Dance, lots of sustain, lots of AoE damage, hoping that he's just going to be able to outlast a lot of these frontliners on the side of Rise.
Outlasting is going to be tough.
It's
but
tough.
At least with the mobility, he can escape, so you don't have to really rely on
He can
Jack.
also back cap as well. That's the added
Yes.
bonus when you go for Pedal Dance on that Venusaur. The movement speed, it does allow for back cap opportunities.
A slow bro surf versus...
Oh, the surf.
Well, we're just talking about this. It's quite obvious that the Squirtle was going to go with the surf just to ride off the opponents away from that dimension portal. Wow.
Oh, but we are seeing Umbreon jumping onto the goal zone. Pretty interesting play coming in from Zoe. He's actually gone for Wish as well, so has the damage reduction and the sustain. Actually going for the Unite as well, setting up for the team. And here comes Eon. Look at that, triple KO for Rise. And all they did was exchange an Umbreon.
Yep, that's true. And of course, it's a 1-2 trade-off there. Commits a Unite from the Mew, but of course they did wonders for Team Rise. And look at the score, Danny. 207-0 at the current moment. There's no space for any of the team members from Xora Target Gaming to do any form of scoring.
No.
And this is definitely something that Team Rise would really want from this game 2 as they need this win. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, Registeel in hands of the Mew. No contest coming up from Xora Tigers Gaming, but we want the top lane. Maybe Q tries to make this game, but unfortunately gets caught here in the hands of Sylveon. And I believe that for Xora Tigers Gaming, they're going to be the ones securing this Regieleki, and they're going to be making their way here, and they are going to commit to a team fight. There's no way that Umbreon can do anything about it. So he's just going to see all this happen right in front of his eyes.
Yep. Just going to be saying a hello to Xora Tigers. But safe play though. I think that was really the only thing you can do. With Dev being eliminated there, you sort of lost your crux in that team fight, one of your big sources of damage, and half the team wasn't there too. So it's just a tier 1 tower, sorry, the tier 1 goal zone in that top lane. It's not too bad. But this late game could be a little bit tricky for Rise if they do decide to keep that bottom tier 1 goal zone up as well. Because if you look at the composition here for Rise, ideally the team stays together. This is not a team that wants to fight separately, one-on-one. You want to fight together, because if you get picked off, you are going to, unfortunately, really weaken the team fight potential of the team. Psychic Solaire committed, and they don't even get Mule. His Unite actually saving him there. It's fine.
It's fine.
We got the buffs to Sylveon Unite. Should be good for Rayquaza. I think if it was the old Sylveon Unite, then there'd be some question marks.
Yeah, that would be a little bit different over there. But it's still at a safe timing as well. It's still 3 minutes plus, so they will be having their Unites by the time Rayquaza actually appears here in the game. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, 55 seconds away from Rayquaza appearing here at the Thea Sky Ruins, and we'll see the outcome later on, because we do foresee that a big team fight will happen at this last few minutes of the game itself. Now, speaking of which, one of the main things coming up from Team Rise is that they need to have this really nice clean entry coming from Blastoise to spread out his Hydro Typhoon. And as you mentioned earlier on during discussion after the draft, was the only catching ability, the only CC they had coming from the side of Team Xora Tigers Gaming. They do have that Slowbro, so I don't think he was running Telekinesis.
Oh, that was actually such a good amnesia to prevent the carry back from that Surf. It's one of the advantages of running that Slowbro. Time it nicely, and Surf doesn't really do much to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's 100% true. If anything, this late game team fight it should be in favor of Rise, because they're the ones that will be controlling the flow of the fight with all this AoE. You have the Midnight Prance from the Umbreon, again Hydro Typhoon, even Psychic Solaire is another way to control the movements of these Pokemon for Xora Tigers. Xora Tigers, their only way of getting any catches, that single target slow beam, alternatively getting the reset with the Hyperspace Hole. That's it. You don't have any other options.
Exactly,
so,
and it's not like Anger Verdan's going to do much as well.
Yeah, and it's up to Xora Tigers on their entry point into this fight, because with Rise leading, Rise are playing defense. They are waiting to see, okay, what do we do? When do we need to go? Xora Tigers are going to have to make that call soon, because they're going to run out of time.
Oh, so they actually spot him out over here. Blastoise is actually all the way back behind the enemy lines and tried to do a little bit of play over there, but he decided to disengage and makes his way going to down bottom. For
Minute to
Team Rise, they
go.
don't have to do anything right now. They don't have to touch the Rayquaza.
No.
They just have to screen off the team members and Xora Tigers from trying to take down Rayquaza. And from time to time as well, you do see the Mimikyu staying a little bit behind just in case enemy tries to be a little bit sneaky, trying to go for any form of scoring. But time is of the essence at the current moment, Danny. 55 seconds on the clock over here if they need to make a choice now when they're going to engage over there. Blastar is still looking healthy. He can still use up the Hydro Typhoon, hitting up multiple units. What's the flow coming from behind over here? And it doesn't even tell him manages to clear out on the Mimikyu, which is going to be very fruitful as well. And they got the Blastars. Now, of course, they do lose out on the Intalon at this current moment, but the situation, it's a 4v3 situation higher over here. Trying to make it from behind as well. And they're going to be losing out this Slowbro for themselves, like Synchronizer together with that Hooper. Is it enough having Sylveon? I was about to see Venusaur, but Venusaur is going to be out and away from the game.
They're just going to score. We're going to see 68 points coming in from the Umbreon and another 100 points coming in from Rise. I think this might just be it. Game number 1 going in favor of Rise. Xora Tigers just not finding that opening, being able to get that insta-KO on Rise. Sure, they got the KO on Dev, but Dev's not the Pokemon you need to be worried about. It's the Mew, it's the Espeon, and the setup, the Umbreon, and the Blastoise. This was a tough game for Xora Tigers, but to be fair, they didn't run the easiest to execute lineup.
Yep, they did. And I think, I mean, it's very hard. I wish we had this conversation with them, but we would assume that probably they are okay with this and they are expecting themselves to actually lose out for this game number 2, just to smoothen out things for their entry into game number.
Additionally, Trevenant does really well into that Buzzwole matchup. Now, I don't know how well Dev is going to enjoy this matchup because we have to also remember Buzzwole is Jong's signature pick for that top lane. So to pick up this Trevenant, I trust that Dev is going to be comfortable in this matchup. If not, I also trust that we're going to be seeing the first rotation from Eeyore in that top lane to make sure that Jong doesn't have the early game that he wants.
Yeah, I was definitely, that is going to be the lane that he would want to punish and assess the scene with at this current moment. But meanwhile, while all that is happening at the bottom lane, despite it being a 2v2 situation, they were not able to actually stop this attempt coming on from the team members from Team Rise to actually do any form of scoring. Top lane, this Doom, a bit too greasy over here. Low on HP, but the bus will come from back end by still doing a little bit of score. Decided not to because the goalpost is there.
He was lucky that the score animation happened as well.
Yeah, exactly. If he like he couldn't like stop.
Could have turned
around.
around.
I was like, hey.
He was like, nah.
No.
If anything, I prefer stacking to get those stacks instead. So for Jong to not get the KO there, it's totally fine. It's just a Phantom. No one cares about a Phantom. He only cares if he's a Trevenant. But Eeyore, surprisingly enough, is going to go to that bottom lane. So wanting to ensure that Axeq gets his lane in that bottom section and actually trusting Dev to be okay up here. But with the Glaceon support, unfortunately for Dev, there's only so much you can do as a top lane Trevenant supported by a Clefable. Not too much when it comes to attack. You get a lot of defense, you have a lot of sustain, but
Yes,
with the Glaceon, sometimes sustain is just not enough.
Yeah, I totally agree on this. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane here, Slowbro together with Sylveon doing a little bit of scoring. Umbreon decides to rotate to the bottom lane, trying to put a little pressure, tries to catch on Slowbro, but they don't really have the damage over here to do anything to him. So even if it's caught in there, there's nothing they can actually do about it. Mid lane, a lot of rotations coming on from the side of Team Xora Tigers Gaming towards the bottom and now towards the middle side as they want to clear the Stellar family, and they're going to be clearing all of them for themselves by giving a little bit of space for team members from Team Rise to do a little bit of scoring here in the top lane. Despite that smackdown coming on from the Buzzball, but there's no fall from behind. Oh, hoping up Wood Hammer hitting up here. Oh, hitting up multiple units as well, holding them in place. But basically, they still have to disengage. There's no way they're going to go up against 4 of these Pokemons coming on from the side of Xora Tigers Gaming.
Yeah, when that was all happening though, it did mean that bottom was going to be relatively free. So we are looking at a level 7 Sylveon on the side of Rise here. Axeq is getting his levels, Eeyore is getting his levels, so all the core Pokemon are getting it. Zoe going down, this is totally normal for this man. He is just such an annoying player to go up against because he's just everywhere at the same time. Because what he's doing is that he is not only wasting Xora Tigers' time from just trying to get that knockout, but it also gives Rise the information that, hey, these players are here, feel free to do whatever you want wherever you are until they actually reach your location. So they already knew that they were going to come down. They are very aware that Xora Tigers want to fight down here. But what's the play for Rise. They're going to stick around in that bottom lane. They actually managed to catch out Axeq. Have to force out the Unite to get that sustain. Will get it, and the body blocks for the Icicle Spears. That's going to keep the Sylveon up. Axeq's ready to go for round number 2. Got to be careful of those Solar Beams coming out from you so far, but this Glaceon has been a nuisance for Rise. They can't quite break through. Oh no, Dev, I think he actually may have just misconnected on his Woodhammer. Tried to go for the displacement on the right side, but it just didn't sweep wide enough.
Oh no, all this damage a little bit too hard to handle. And of course, the Secure coming up from behind. Electro Ball from the Mew as well. Secures the Trevenant, making a 3-man takedown here at the bottom lane. And this is going to be creating an opening for the team members from Xora Tigers Gaming to secure the Regirock, as well as destroying this goalpost at the bottom lane from the side of Team Rise. They're going to be rotating back to the mid lane this time, clearing out those wild Pokemons at this current moment.
I'm actually very surprised that Eeyore didn't decide to join his team in that bottom lane at all. He actually decided to stick around in the top lane to actually collect and experience on the Urshifu. So I wonder what the plan is here for Rise. Like, did they anticipate that they would actually lose that bottom
Urshifu
fight?
lost in a 1v1 and against the Buzzwole.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Buzzwole came down, I believe. So
no, Buzzwole came down after.
yeah, he came down, but the Aleki never got taken. Regardless, we are going to be getting a fight in that top lane. So Xora Tigers looking to make that push happen. Phantom Forest connecting onto multiple Pokemon. They catch out the Buzzwole. Jongno getting his Unite off as well. Also getting some sustain. The Trevenant goes down. Dev is out of the picture. Axeq being thrown around by the Buzzwole. He's actually got a backwards connection for that Hyper Voice, but they just don't have the range damage to finish off that Sylveon. And now it's just going to be Eeyore on this. Urshifu tries to go for the Wicked Blow, but again, just being cut down by this Glaceon. This Glaceon pick that they've given away to Xora Tigers is becoming so problematic for Rise. They just can't make an approach.
Oh man, even with that Trevenant over there, despite it being a very durable Pokemon, not able to see all the damage coming out from the team members of Team Xora Tigers Gaming, basically just come back to the lane and just gets destroyed immediately. Quite unfortunate they were not able to actually make it a clean team-wide by securing that Sylveon, but a 4-man takedown over there in the hands of that Glaceon, putting him currently at level 11, Danny. And of course, Urshifu trying to catch up as well, because currently also at level 11 together with the Sylveon, but Glaceon's already at 12 at the current moment.
Look, Rise have got to do whatever they can to keep up in the macro game, because you fall behind in a Glaceon matchup, especially at that Rayquaza fight. It doesn't matter if you're a Trevenant or if you're a Slowbro or if you're the tankiest Pokemon alive, you will be eliminated by those Icicle Spears. The last hope for Rise going into this late game is that you have to figure out a way to either flank the Glaceon, you're praying that Mule oversteps his boundaries and makes a mistake, or you just somehow clip him with Axeq, because one of the issues I'm looking at the draft here...
He jumped off the platform and he was like, wait, there's an Urshifu and a Slowbro over there.
Because one of the issues I'm seeing with Rise right now is that they just don't have the easiest way to dive, and they're trying to go into this Eldegoss, even committing a Unite as well. They get the Eldegoss, but what's it going to come at the cost of? It's come at the cost of an Urshifu and probably a Clefable as well. Jong popping up on his signature Buzzwole. Axeq forced to use a Unite as well. This game is an absolute disaster for Rise. Absolute disaster. Everything that went wrong for this team has gone wrong, and it's not looking any better.
A little bit of overcommitment coming up from there, and I think they were getting a little bit too comfortable. They managed to pick on a few of the Pokemons coming on from the side of Team Xora Tigers Gaming. They should just play it well, knowing I get it, and like in heated faction, you tend to get excited over these kind of things. But this is not the time to actually make this kind of mistakes, especially as we're about to approach the final few minutes into this game number 3. 2 minutes and 55 seconds on the clock here, as we're about to wait for the appearance of Rayquaza here at the Thea Sky Ruins. Meanwhile, top lane, we do see Buzzwole and the...
Zoe just trying to back have 4 points.
I was wondering, who's that guy up there?
It's always, if it's Rise, you see someone backcapping, it's always Zoe. Always Zoe.
It's just Zoe doing Zoe things.
Yep.
But anyways, like for the side of Team Xora Tigers Gaming, they have quite a things they have to do. They have to defend the top goalpost as well as the bottom, as they still have the tier 1 at the bottom side over here, which is very close to them. Meanwhile, we do foresee that a big one's coming over here.
Props to Rise for being able to keep up in experience. They could have fallen behind, and they could have fallen into the trap of, we can't move anywhere on the map because we want to get KO'd. They've been very diligent farming all those wild Pokemon, getting this experience. So we are looking at an even battleground here, maybe a little bit of a disadvantage. But it's going to come down to the Ray fight. If there's one thing that Rise is going to be good at, it is going to be securing the Ray as long as Eeyore is standing. Whose Wicked Blow could be what keeps Rise in this upper bracket. But Xora Tigers, that's the team with a dream. They want to win. They want to prove that Korea deserves to be on the world stage, to be feared and not to be mocked. It's going to come down to this Rayquaza flavor. Who's going to get it?
And of course, we might be seeing a little bit how do you see that HP coming from Rayquaza, but of course, they're trying to save all this damage, all this snipe coming on as well, come from team members of Team Rise. Is it going to be enough as well? Oh, Woodhammer connecting Hideo from tree, but that's no follow-up coming from behind as well, holding him in a position. Now there's going to be it's just team. Oh, commence with the Unite as well from this Buzzwole. They managed to clear the Buzzwole. He's going to hand some Sylveon, chasing up from behind. Trevenant still surviving through. They also are from both sides, and here comes the Glaceon punishing the team members from Team Rise from behind. That's 3-man down, even 2 more chasing up from behind as well. Where is the Trevenant? Now it comes a reset for this Rayquaza, looking and healthy. Now they have to start from scratch, Danny.
They have to start from scratch, and nobody has Unites. But what a crazy fight. We had Jong come in. They got the insta-KO onto Eeyore, but they also got the slow beam onto Jong. So now in this last fight, with 40 seconds to go, Rise either need to win this fight, or they have to sneak in the sneakiest back cap of their lives. And if there's a way, it's got to be with the Ray. But who's going to get that final hit? First KO already onto the Trevenant. Dev is not going to be there with the Woodhammer support. And look at this, Jong providing so much damage. There we go. Wicked Blow. Urshifu gets the Rayquaza. But can they score those points? Glaceon eliminated by XQ. Won the Sylveon. It looks like this might just be the play. 284 to 260.
The
52 points by the Buzzwole. We get another score coming in from XQ. But can they score points? 6 more. Is this going to maybe be game winning? They're being look. It's so close.
Oh, it's so close. They don't
so
know when.
close.
They're waiting for it.
I think. Is it Rise? It's Rise! Rise have taken the game. We didn't get to see the score, but with their reaction, of course, you can see that Rise. If there's a way, it's Ray. And props to some friends for making an amazing quote. But what a game. Rise not giving up, staying strong.
Oh,
wow.
that was a huge reverse sweep over there after losing out that game number 1. Team Rise forcing the game number 3.
Like, as much as I want to praise Rise for that resilience in that late game, just to gun for Rayquaza, Xora Tigers, this team has impressed. I did not expect this team to play this good going into the league stage. I thought they might have not qualified at all for the offline finals, but here they are in the offline finals, almost taking a game off of Rise after a wonderful execution of this game number 3, coming down to a situation where very few teams will have the experience and the knowledge to be able to pull off.
Yeah, and I do believe that Xora Tigers, they may have earned a well-deserved respect, not just from their opponents here for Team Rise, but as well as everyone who's tuning into this live stream, tuning into this upper bracket match. And they have